All right, everybody, welcome back to the Game Vault. As always, I'm Captain Beefy here today. I'm going to talk a little bit about Cyberpunk 2077. It is September 6, 2022, and patch 1.6 has gone live on all platforms. And a recent, an announcement today for some DLC coming out in 2023's popped up. So we're not really going to address that today. We're going to look at the patch notes and see what's new in Cyberpunk 2077. Now, a little background on this game. It came out a couple years ago, and it was, to put it mildly, not very well received by the gaming community. There were a lot of issues with the game, especially on last-gen consoles, the PlayStation 4 and the older Xbox. It didn't run well, a lot of glitches, a lot of trouble, a lot of weirdness. Not only that, but the game itself did not deliver on everything that it had promised years before when it was first announced. So it got a lot of backlash, and CD Projekt Red really took a beating over this. There was, it was taken down from the PlayStation Store for a while. Now, I pre-ordered it, and it was a day one player. It was something I was really looking forward to. The game looked pretty cool, and based off their previous work, I was quite confident it would be great. I had a PlayStation 4 Pro, and the hard drive in it was an SSD hard drive that I had upgraded myself. So it played okay for me, but there were crashes and there was glitches, and yeah, it definitely didn't deliver on everything it said it would, but overall it was still a fun game, not nearly as good as I thought it was going to be, but not enough for me to hate it. I was like, hopefully they'll go the route of some of these other games like No Man's Sky and do some updates and get this thing on track to being where it should be. And it looks like they're trying to do that. No excuses for them for releasing the game early or before it was finished, or however you want to look at it, but it is what it is. So let's get to the patch. So first off, we now have a wardrobe feature which will allow us to change the appearance of our outfit without changing the armor stats. This is commonly called a transmog feature, and it's in a lot of games, especially games that have cool outfits in it, because you may want to look a certain way. And I remember, going back to the days of the original Diablo, where everybody wore the same armor in the end because it was the only good armor, or it was the best armor in the game, so everybody looked alike. Having a transmog feature is fantastic. You don't have to run around the city looking like a 6-year-old that dressed himself without any input from mama, or like a clown or something. It's just, there's a wide variety of looks in this game, and piecing it together with all these different items is just ridiculous. You look stupid. You got a pink vest on and a bright green jacket and a motorcycle helmet and a samurai mask that's red and blue shoe. It's just, you look idiotic. All right, in addition to that, there are some new gigs that the fixers will give out. One's called a concrete cage trap, another is desperate measures, and a nasty hangover. So some new gigs from the fixers, which is cool. I've always enjoyed those fixer jobs. In fact, in preparation for this, I re-downloaded the game and started a new playthrough last week, and have just been running around the very first area where you're still on lockdown in the Haywood area. Haven't even gone to Lizzie's bar yet, so I'm just running around doing gigs and doing police work and getting my street cred up and just having a good old time killing a lot of people. All right, we also got 6 new firearms in the game: a smart pistol, a tech submachine gun, a hypercritical iconic precision rifle, a power shotgun, a power light machine gun, and a power assault rifle. 5 new melee weapons: a neurotoxin knife, a pun knife, an axe, a machete, and a chainsword. Now, the new update also allows cross-progression, so this is a feature between platforms. Your latest saves will be automatically uploaded to the cloud, so you can continue where you left off easily on other platforms. Cross-progression provides the latest save for every save type: quick, auto, and manual, etc. The feature becomes available after you log in with your account from the main menu or the in-game load game menu. Cross-progression may be limited when it comes to console versions with regional restrictions, so there's that. Now, we all know that Cyberpunk has the Edge Runners series coming out, and There is some additional content based off of the Edge Runner anime series, and that includes new equipment and photo mode features. So that'll be kind of fun to look into. And they've put an arcade game in called Roach Race. Yes, you heard Roach Race. I don't know if you've seen it yet. It features the horse from The Witcher in there, who's named Roach, obviously. You can already play the game, or at least see it around. I don't remember if we could play it or not. But it says you could play a brand new minigame using the arcade machines located in Night City, including the ones in Northside, Japantown, and the Glen Apartments. Climb the leaderboard to earn special prizes, including cash and items. If you're enjoying Road Race and Cyberpunk 2077, check out the mobile version for Android and iOS. That's funny. And remember that your high scores in the game and on mobile versions are separate. You also can take photos of nibbles in photo mode. When in photo mode, go to the Pose tab and choose Nibbles in the character section. Please note this option becomes available only after you invite Nibbles to V's apartment. If you don't know who Nibbles is a cat you can get. So a lot of gameplay changes here. We'll go through them real quick. Inverted camera axis will now also apply to photo mode. Increase the camera rotation angle in photo mode from 60 to negative 60 to 90 and negative 90 degrees, making vertical shots possible. Add an option to modify V's face and body at Ripper Dot Clinics. Thank you. V won't continuously fidget in character creation anymore. That's kind of cool, it gets a little annoying. Fixed an issue where it wasn't possible to pick up loot from drones. That's been from day one. Fixed an issue where it was impossible to pick up loot if it was completely or partially obstructed by foliage collision. Fixed NPC reaction when bumping into them. Fixed an issue where panicked NPCs were idling or crouching instead of using a designated hands-up animation. If NPCs were staggered or knocked down while shooting, they will now continue to shoot aimlessly. Adjusted some vehicles to the new Burnout mode introduced in patch 1.5 and polished the tunes on many others. Added a new AW all-wheel drive performance variant of the Thornton Colby called the CST40. Fixed an issue where vehicles went in reverse when braking at low speeds. Fixed an issue where jacking out of an access point shortly before the hacking minigame starts and then completing the minigame left the access point active, allowing to connect to it again. Fixed an issue where the biomonitor didn't restore health in some circumstances. Fixed an issue where players' hit points went down incredibly fast under the effect of burn if the NPC who applied that effect used the Sandevistan dash. Lowered the selling price of the target analysis mod and changed the amount of crafting components required to craft it. And some weapon changes here. We've got changed stats to the Stinger Iconic Knife. Attacks against poison enemies will now have a 100% chance of causing bleeding. Attacks against bleeding enemies will have a 100% chance to cause poison. Rearrange weapons from the long blade category to fit different categories. Move the chef's knife to the knife category. Move the tomahawk from the blunt weapons to blades and place together with the new claw axe in the new axe category. Move the machete and kukri to the new machete category together with the new razor machete. Replace the standard butcher's cleaver with an iconic version. If a player owned the butcher's cleaver, it will be replaced with a knife. If a player owned a crafting recipe for butcher's cleaver, they will be granted a knife recipe of matching rarity. Balanced sniper rifle. Sniper rifle should now be able to one-shot enemies after the player invests in this weapon archetype. Lower damage output for the Overwatch sniper rifle. The Nikomata sniper rifle will now be easier to handle when charging. Lower the price of the Slot-O-Matic power pistol available for purchase from vending machines. Sir John Fallistiff will now have a new iconic effect, increasing damage when hitting NPCs in the face. It will also have a chance to stun enemies with strong attacks. Gamepads will now be constantly vibrating when holding the weapon. That's kind of interesting. The 05 sniper rifle will now have a new iconic effect, causing bigger explosions that can light the targets on fire. The more enemies are burning, the bigger are the buffs the player is getting to crit chance and reload speed. It will now come with a unique scope that requires 20 body to equip. Cool. The Divided We Stand assault rifle will now have a new iconic effect. Bullets will now have a greater chance to miss the target with a chance to explode into biohazard clouds. Biohazard clouds are guaranteed to poison nearby enemies. The Yinglong submachine gun will now have a new effect icon, or a new iconic effect. The chance to cause EMP explosions has been significantly increased. Clip size has been increased to help wreak havoc with EMP explosions. Remove the scope slot from the Tech Precision rifles, that's the M179 Achilles and Widowmaker. If the player owns such a rifle with a scope attached, the scope will be removed and placed in the inventory. Different types of knives will now have their own specified return times indicated in their tooltip. Fixed an issue where Skippy had extremely low DPS on saves made on patch 1.3 and 1.31. Fixed an issue where it was possible to buy and craft ammo after reaching the ammo cap, wasting money and components. It's a nice fix. Fixed an issue where Mantis blades with damage mods emitted blinding lights upon use. Melee quick attacks won't apply status effects from the currently equipped and drawn weapon anymore. We got some perks, added new poison perks, corrosive poison and critical antidote, and that's ninjutsu skill tree, replacing haste and the inevitable and neurotoxin perks respectively. Fixed an issue where gun whisperer perk didn't work with the JKE-X2 Kenshin and the DR12 Quasar. Rebalanced the long shot perk. Now it grants bonus damage only up to a certain distance threshold. Fixed an issue where crafting an item using an ingredient with a quest tag may not have removed that ingredient from the inventory if the player had the Ex Nihilo perk. Quests added more secrets in Night City to be discovered by players. Due to some technical challenge, this change isn't available in the previous generation of consoles. So one thing to note here, it looks like CD Projekt Red is kind of giving up on last generation consoles for this game moving forward, and I think it even starts today. I just think the limitations of those consoles were too much, and that's a shame if you're a last gen console owner and you haven't been able to upgrade yet for monetary reasons, availability reasons, whatever. That sucks. I hope that's not the case. But yeah. Various small fixes to the interaction of these apartments and safe houses. V will now sleep in bed for an amount of time set by the player. Automatic love fixed an issue where Lizzie's club was closed during regular opening hours. Dream on. Use the vents to climb to the roof from the secret control room has been made easier. Epistrophe, the Glen Epistrophe Badlands quest will now be properly failed if the player destroys Delamain. I'll Fly Away. Scorpion's car will no longer glitch while driving off the ramp. Tapeworm fixed an issue where the coughing animation played with a delay, causing visual issues. The Ballad of Buck Ravers. Karam's Samurai merch is back in stock and available anytime at Cherry Blossom Market after completing the quest. The Heist fixed an issue where taking out enemies using a quick hack could result in the optional objective wait for an opportunity to take out the guards to remain until the end of the quest. The Hunt fixed an issue where saving the game could become permanently disabled after the brain dance sequence. It sucked. The Pickup fixed an issue where leaving mid-quest could result in stopping all combat music. And then there is a ton of open world fixes. A lot of stuff related to gigs, just little issues where like Trevor's body won't spawn in the freezer, or where it's possible to talk to some of the NPCs in the funeral home despite them being dead. Little things like that. Let's see, the UI added item preview, so it's possible to see an item on V before you buy it. That's kind of nice. Add an option to switch off radio subtitles in the sound category and settings. This will be switched off by default. Items placed in the stash will now properly show their monetary value in the tooltip. Rearrange some options and categories in game settings. Fixed an issue where languages using double byte characters like Korean, simplified Chinese, Japanese, traditional Chinese displayed overlapping save file names and dates in a load save menu. Fixed an issue where the number of available pieces of gear for different slots didn't update after disassembling gear. Optimized performance in the inventory and vendor screens. Fixed certain cases where a dark rectangle could remain stuck on the screen. Fixed small UI adjustments and improvements in the character creation, crafting, and messages menu, pop-ups, and quest tracker. Added the ability to enable additional content through the additional content menu. Fixed an issue where the number of available attribute points displayed on the screen after leveling up was incorrect. Visual, a few little visual things here like neon rims on bikes now come in different colors. Added new hairstyles in the character creation. Fixed certain instances where vehicles could spawn misaligned with the surface of the road. Fixed an issue where cars and traffic clipped into each other when slow HDD mode was enabled. Addressed an issue where floating indestructible parts were present when destroying cars. Improvements in dynamic resolution scaling. Fixed an issue where the last shot fired from a gun didn't have a recoil animation. And Total Immortal fixed the grass clipping through the floor on the way to Yorinobu's office. A couple audio ones, added sound effects of reloading weapons when carrying a body, improved knife throwing sound effects. Stadium Love 6th Street Party music will now be louder. I Fought the Law. They fixed an issue where triggering a fight with the thugs in the market will leave the area, and then leaving the area without killing them caused the combat music to play indefinitely. That's got to be annoying. Some PC-specific ones, adjusted graphic setting presets to provide a higher quality setup. For the Steam Deck, fixed an issue where the dedicated preset was applying ultra settings instead of properly crafted graphic settings, and on Steam Deck fixed an issue where the game became unresponsive after trying to change key bindings. Let's see what else. On consoles, Xbox Series S added new performance mode, which can be enabled in the settings, video, and in graphics mode. FPS is aiming at 60 in 900p with dynamic resolution scaling in 800p to 1080p range. All right. Added Brazilian Portuguese support for disc copies in Portugal, PlayStation codes, yada yada. Addressed an issue where switching between first-person perspective and third-person perspective had a noticeable display. Addressed the issue with input lag in ray tracing mode on next-gen consoles. Stadia specific added the missing key bindings for toggle walking and holster weapon keys. And a couple little miscellaneous things like added support for Razer Chroma, fixed temporary FPS drops when opening the map or inventory on PC and Stadia, made some adjustments and improvements to the Arabic language location. Then there's some mod stuff added on there and all, but that about sums it up right there. So patch 1.6 is live now for Cyberpunk 2077. Check it out. Let me know what you think of it, and look for the trailer for the new update that's coming out, the new DLC next year. That looks like a lot of fun, and we'll look into that coming down the road. If you're interested in seeing any Cyberpunk videos, I'd be willing to put some out there. I wouldn't do a walkthrough. I mean, that doesn't seem like to be a popular thing here on YouTube, and kind of just seems like a waste, but I wouldn't mind looking at certain character builds and all that, and maybe going over some stuff. So let me know down in the comments below what you think. If this video was any help, leave a like on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring that bell so you're notified every time I drop a new video. Don't forget to share us on social media. As always, I'm Captain BP. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day. I will see you next time.